Welcome back into the Rounding Third podcast. I'm Nick. We got Harrison and Sean. How we doing, fellas?
What's up, boys?
Good. How we doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Some crazy baseball already to start last week, so we'll get into it. But first, make sure that you follow and like us on Facebook. You can also subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All right. Leading off, obviously, this current playoff results so far. Let's just jump to the DS because that's where we are right now. We'll start with the Orioles and Rangers series. What do we think so far about that series, other than Texas just absolutely rakes nonstop?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where it is. Right? I mean, that's the story. It's what they do. I mean, they got on a roll in Tampa. They took those two quick ones in Tampa, which were pretty, I thought, pretty non-competitive games from the outset. Those were Texas's games from the first pitch, and they've just rolled that. They have so much confidence at the plate, they're so comfortable in the box, and they're just big hit after big hit after big hit. I mean, I don't know what else to say about them other than, I mean, they're making me happy. I've been on the Texas bandwagon since April, so
yeah.
They got to just keep it rolling. But, I mean, whether they win the series or not, I think Baltimore has a lot to look forward to in the future, right? I mean, this is a team that's like, they're not going anywhere. Like, this is what you're going to get in Baltimore for the next number of years. 90 wins, 100 wins, battling for deep postseason runs. Like, it's only going to get better for them if this isn't the year. Would be probably disappointing, not to get ahead of myself here, but it would probably be disappointing for them to get the bye, 100-plus wins, get the bye, and then come out and just kind of lay a dud here. But
yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say yesterday's game. I mean, they put up 8 runs, and they still lost. The thing is they walked right, but they walked also like 10 guys in that game. Like early on, Grayson Rodriguez couldn't find the zone, and then when he did, he got hit. So I mean, the Orioles didn't really help themselves with free base runners, the pitching, anyways. Their offense can hit. I mean, as you see, they put up 8 runs, but teams are going to have, if they want to beat the Texas Rangers, they have to outslug them. And I don't see any team that can do that other than the Braves. And we'll get to them in a minute, which they apparently left their bats in that 5-day stretch. No one, I think, is going to outslug Texas.
No, probably not. I mean, I think, I think if Texas ends up getting through Baltimore and they end up facing Houston in the CS, I think you could run into some trouble simply because it's a team they play a bunch against. And I do think Houston has some pitchers that can stymie them a little bit. I don't think anyone's gonna be able to shut them down. But I do think Houston could potentially have the veteran arms that have been through postseason before, kind of just, grind and battle through and, hold them to 4 or 5. And Houston can score 4 or 5 against anybody. They can score 4, 5, 6 runs, especially if it's a 7-game series. If I'm Texas and I'm getting through Baltimore, I'd love to see Minnesota find its way through because I think that would be a really good matchup for you as Texas. I think Houston would still, with the postseason pedigree that they have, it's just a team I wouldn't want to face.
Yeah, I mean, Texas, they've hit all year. They score the 3rd most runs in all of baseball. They can mash the best of them. When they get hot, they can hit, and they will absolutely hit the lights out. But the one thing, and I said it to you guys the other day in the text message thing, is I don't like this 5-day off thing, because if you look at the DS right now, so the Orioles got 5 days off, lose game 1, score 2 runs. Braves get 5 days off, lose game 1, score no runs. Dodgers get 5 days off, lose game 1, score 2 runs. The Astros get 5 days off. They win game 1 behind Verlander, who was exceptional, and they win 6-4. And you've got these teams. 5 days off is not natural for baseball. And to have these guys, I'm sure they're getting simulated games and all this other nonsense, but 5 days off is not natural for baseball. And if you look at this, the Braves last year got 5 games off, came out and absolutely fell flat on their face against the Phillies. They're doing the same thing again this year. The Orioles looked lost in game 1, and they did hit in game 2. But it didn't hit until game 2. Astros came out okay in game 1, didn't play great in game 2. The Dodgers have another one to see if they can recover. But I just don't love the 5-day off thing, because I think you're giving these teams who are getting a bye, in quotes, like it's a good I think it's a setback. And the stats are showing these teams that got 5 days off all came out flat.
Yeah, I mean, you barely get 5 days for the All-Star break. You know what I mean? Like, your last game is that Sunday evening. You got guys that are in the Derby Monday, All-Star game Tuesday, and then their games are on Thursday. A couple games start back on Thursday. So it's not even a 5-day break. And then, so these guys aren't used to having that time off. It takes them out of their routine, takes them out of their time at the ballpark, all of that stuff. Like, I get the rest. It brought some, guys that were injured that could heal. I get all of that. But, yeah, 5 days is too much. Sean and I were kind of talking a little bit before. Like, if you want more eyeballs on the TV, you know what? Do what hockey does and let 8 teams from each league come in. 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7, 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5, and play it out that way. Yeah. Then no one has a break. You can even keep the format: 3-game series in that first round, 5-game, then 7-7. However the math works out, I don't know. But do it something like that, and you're going to have more fan bases invested into the playoffs, which is just more money for the MLB. But go ahead.
No, finish up. No, finish up. And then
I just think typical MLB fashion, they're going to come in and see all these 1 and 2 seeds possibly not make it to the championship series and be like, oh, let's change the playoff format yet again. I mean, they change it every 2 to 3 years anyways. So, I mean, wouldn't surprise me if they come in and tweak it or fix it a little bit after this.
Yeah, I mean, so the most recent change I like, because I hated the 1-game wild card.
Same.
Right? Like, baseball it's a series game. I mean, you play series year round. You build your team so that your team is strong throughout a series. Like, that's how general managers build the team. They build pitching rotations and bullpens, and they build lineups so that you can be the best team over the course of a series. So to then get into a sport where you have to win 1 game, 1 and done, I don't think is right. So I'm glad they made that change. If you truly want to give the number 1 seed, the number 2 seed, the top, like, if you want to give them the biggest advantage, which they should get for being the number 1 seed, don't give them time off. Reseed the playoffs. Like, reseed it every round so that the highest remaining seed is always playing the lowest remaining seed. They do it in other sports, and I think that's their truest – to me, that's the truest way that you're giving these guys an advantage, right? So 1 plays 8. They find their way through. 7 somehow upsets 2. Well, now number 1 gets to play number 7, right? Like, you're playing the lowest remaining seed as you're moving your way through. To me, that's the biggest way to give these guys the advantage, rather than giving a team like the Braves, like the Orioles, 5 days off and then telling them to come out. And now not only do they have to play for the first time in 5 days, they're playing against a team that just ripped off 2 straight wins.
Right.
So, like, they're at like a double disadvantage almost, because it's like you're running into a buzzsaw while you're coming off cold from 5 days rest.
Yep.
And it's not all about excuses. They got to play better. You got to pitch better. You got to hit better. But again, we're talking about 162 games over the course of a year. You're playing every single day. Like, that's what they do during the year. And then all of a sudden they're going into the biggest stretch of the season and they're coming off 5 days off. It's a disadvantage for sure.
Yeah. Baseball is built on that consistency. It's the reps, it's the at-bats, and you can't simulate that. There's no simulated game or bullpen session that simulates what's actually happening on the field during a game. And, especially with the pressure of the playoffs. In spring training, who cares? But you're talking about the playoffs after a long layoff.
Yeah.
But
Morgan says wild card round should go back to 1 game. See, the only problem I have with that is
such a crapshoot.
That's the thing. You play 162 games, you make the playoffs, and then you can lose. Baseball's funny like that. Like, not always the best team wins 1 game, where series usually the better team at that time wins.
Yeah, over the course of that, because that's how you build your team. You build your roster to be a roster that's better over the course of a series.
Right.
So it's and particularly the teams that are playing in these wild card rounds are teams that are battling up through game 162 to make the postseason. So like you're not setting up a rotation. You're not setting up a bullpen in a way that's going to handle postseason from the beginning. You're going into game 163 essentially with, not your best starter. Right. And you have bullpen guys that are not fully rested. And I'm not saying that's the breaks. Like I get it. Like that's part of playing a season and then going into the postseason. But you're hamstringing these teams by doing just one game.
Yeah.
And it does provide chaos. And I love don't get me wrong, I love chaos. But it just
love
doesn't
me some chaos.
I do, but it just doesn't necessarily give us the best product, I don't think.
Yeah. I think 7 of the last 8 wild card rounds have been sweeps, gives the teams with the buys the less time off. So, I mean, with that aspect and that part of that argument, that one game does make sense because you're giving those teams less time off. So then therefore they don't have that long layoff and they're not cold coming out. I mean, it's a good point, but I personally would hate to bust my ass for 162 games and then lose one game because a ground ball hit a pebble, went over my shoulder, and the winning run scores. I understand that's baseball and that happens, but I would rather have beat me twice, and then I'll go home. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, I just think if you, again, with baseball, with the way that it's a game of series, and not to keep repeating myself, but if you're going to play, whether it's a best of 3, a best of 5, a best of 7, if you're going to come out and beat another team in a series, you deserve to move on. You may not have been the better team all year, but if you beat a team in a series, then you have the right to go.
Yep.
If you win one game, I mean, that's the start of a series. That's not the series. That's the start of it. That should be the start of a series. Okay, now game on. Let's go. Who wins this? Who wins 2? Or who wins 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 7, whatever. But I just don't love it. I mean, there's arguments to be made on both sides, and I'm not saying anyone that thinks a one-game wild card is an idiot and is wrong. I just don't like it.
Fair.
But
and you could tell. It always bothers me when you can tell that this bothers the teams, because Alex Anthopoulos of the Braves, 2 weeks before the season was over, was being asked by reporters, "How are you going to handle the layoff? Because you guys didn't handle it well last year." And his basic response was, "I don't know. We're going to try a lot of different things. We're going to let fans into our practices. We're going to do simulated games. We're going to have things going live. We're going to try to simulate baseball to help these guys stay fresh. But we haven't really figured out how to contend with that layoff." And when you've got a general manager of the best team in baseball saying, "We haven't yet figured out how to contend with that layoff," it tells you right there that this isn't what anybody wants. This isn't what these 1 seeds want. This is not what these general managers want. This is not what the players want. This format was designed to get a few more games in the slate, pick up some more TV dollars, which I'm all for, but you cannot give baseball teams 3, 4, 5 days off. You just can't, because you're in a position now where if the Dodgers lose tonight, looks like the Braves are likely to lose again today. Braves go down 2-0 to Philly. Dodgers go down 2-0. Orioles are down 2-0. You could have 3 of your number 1 seeds get swept out of the DS. That's not a coincidence when you get 3 of them that get swept out. And the Astros, who knows? I mean, they came out okay in game 1 and didn't come out so great in game 2, and who knows? But the Dodgers are fighting it. The Braves are fighting it. The Orioles are fighting it, and it's clearly a problem.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on to the other ALDS series here. Obviously, the Astros and Twins. Astros beat the Twins in game 1. Altuve hits a first pitch home run into the Crawford boxes. That's his
always.
It's just a running joke at this point. And Yordan Alvarez, this dude is an absolute animal. Every time I watch this guy hit, he seems like he hits one 500 feet. He homered twice in game 1, and then he homered again last night. He's got 3 home runs in the first 2 games of the divisional series. Why do you even pitch to this guy anymore? I mean,
in the playoffs, especially.
Right. Like, I understand you have Kyle Tucker behind him and all that stuff, but still, I mean, just stop throwing this guy a fastball. Like, don't throw him a fastball because he's going to turn it around 550 feet. It's insane. But so yeah, Astros win game 1, 6-4. Game 2, Pablo Lopez comes out and puts on a pitching clinic against the Astros last night. That was honestly one of the best pitched games I've seen in a while. It was fun to watch, mostly because the Astros were losing. Probably why it was a lot of fun. But I mean, it was great. He worked the upper quadrant, the lower quadrant, east, west. Like, he had those guys diving all over the place, sawing them off. Like, it was just great all around pitching. And then Carlos Correa came in and just gave it to his old team. 3 RBIs, double. I mean, big hit there in the middle of the game to push their lead up to, I think it was like 5 at that point.
And he's now the postseason RBI leader, right?
He's 4th. He just passed.
4th. Okay.
Or tied for 3rd. Sorry. He's tied with David Justice. He just passed Jeter and Ortiz.
Okay. So, it wasn't for 1st. It was, okay.
Not for 1st yet. Yeah, he's still got Bernie Williams has 80, and he's the leader. So, yeah, still got a little bit ways to go.
The underappreciated Bernie Williams.
No, absolutely. Sure. Morgan's got a question for us in the chat here. In the realm of second baseman, how high up is Altuve? All the guy does is come up clutch in the playoffs. I mean, it's easy to come up clutch when you know what's coming.
Wow.
All joking aside, I mean, he's up there. Oh boy, Nick, Harrison, as you just said, looks like the Braves are about to lose. 2-run homer, 4-3, bottom of the 7th, 1 out. They're right back in this game.
Amen. They're gonna do something.
Dude, let's take out Travis d'Arnaud, though.
Did d'Arnaud hit it?
Yeah,
d'Arnaud did. Yeah, I said that after there was a stolen base attempt, like maybe in the 4th or 5th inning, and he airmailed it like over the center field fence. It was like, where are you throwing that ball?
Try throwing from his knees.
But yeah, 4-3. Now here it looks like here he comes. They're going to the pen. What were we just talking about? Oh, Altuve. Yeah, dude. I don't know. He's got to be up there.
If he's not at the top of the mountain, he's damn close. Like,
all he does is come up clutch in the playoffs, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's a big hit, a big home run early in the game to give them the lead, late in the game to tie it or take the lead, bottom of the 9th to win the game. Like, it just doesn't matter the spot. Like, if he's up in a big moment, like, something good is going to happen for the Astros. It's crazy.
And I think with Altuve, it's not even about in the realm of second baseman. It's just in baseball players. What the guy does in the playoffs it's not even positional. It is the guy is an absolute automatic when they need him. Now, granted, Nick is right. For a year, he had a benefit, but the guy has raked even after the trash can thing. The guy continues to rake in the playoffs.
It would mean more to me if that was the only time he produced.
Right.
Agreed. But it's like it does, like, it was. I'm not absolving because it's like it happened and you got to acknowledge it, but it doesn't take away from his postseason greatness, in my opinion. At least that much. Does it put a little question mark? Sure, a little bit, but it doesn't take away from what he's done in his career as a postseason player.
Yeah, he might be one of the best postseason players ever. Forget about second baseman, just best postseason players ever.
Certainly in our generation.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, move over to the NL, and we'll talk about the game that's happening now. Game 1, Phillies come out and beat Atlanta 3-0. The big thing about this 3-0 loss, this was the first time the Atlanta Braves got shut out at home all season, and it happened in the playoffs. I mean, tough.
Suarez did a nice job at the start, and then their bullpen was unreal.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, their bullpen, the Phillies bullpen was just challenging these Braves hitters. Just challenge time, and they came up on top every challenge. It was crazy.
One of the scariest dudes, honestly, I would never want to step into the box is Jose Alvarado. From the left side, the movement that guy has, and he throws triple digits. Like, there's no way, even in my prime, I'd had a chance at that. Zero. And
he looks. I mean, he might be like the nicest guy, but he looks like he'd throw at you for no reason either. So, like, there's no way you can even be comfortable in the box.
No.
Like, the minute I step in, I'd be like on my heels, just waiting for that thing to come.
Yeah. That play by Trey Turner.
Trey Turner play
to shut down.
Unbelievable.
Right.
And then he's followed that up with booting it around.
Yeah. But I mean, that play, diving to his left to save 2 runs and to end the inning was just
unreal.
And not talked about was that turn at second base too. If you watch the turn, he doesn't step. All it is just a hip pivot and an absolute rocket to first to get him for the double play. Like, it was just great play all around. But
yeah, I mean, and that's they signed him to be that kind of anchor defender too, because the guy, yes, he can hit absolutely, but he's also got a really good glove and he can do a lot of things for him.
Well, so does Bryson Stott. Bryson Stott's an underrated defensive second baseman.
Yeah.
And to talk, Nick, on like the back half of that double play, like the Turner play was incredible, and not to take anything away from either one of them, but like the fact that he's able to make that turn at second base because it ended the inning is a massive turn. It would have been a great play anyways. If they get the fielder's choice and the guy out at second, like great play, probably stymies the inning anyways, but you never know. I mean, especially against this team, you never know. For Bryson Stott to be able to come, get the feed, and then make the turn to end the inning is unbelievable play.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Unbelievable play.
The other thing about game one that was a little different was we weren't sure why Brian Snitker mixed it up as much as he did. He hadn't changed his lineup, they said, like all year. And then he goes in and kind of mixes it all up. I get the playoff format now where, like, you don't want to stack lefties, you don't want to stack righties, because the playoffs are such bullpen games now that you want to spread everybody out. So you have lefty, righty as much as possible. But the Braves slugged .501 this year as a team. Why are you changing that? These guys have done nothing but hit everybody all year, and you change your lineup for game one. I mean, like I said, I'm sure he had something behind it, but this is where analytics coming into the game kind of hurts, I think, what the manager's feel is.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, and who knows what his reasoning was. I mean, we don't know, but I mean, it seems that way, right? Like he was trying to avoid kind of the stacking in the lineup, which I get, I do, but like it only becomes a problem. It becomes, how do I want to say this? It becomes a problem for the Phillies bullpen when you force them into a scenario where they have to, like, the way the lineup was constituted, so was it Saturday night? The way that lineup was constituted Saturday night, they didn't force Philly to go to the bullpen. So it's like you're trying to avoid a problem that you haven't even got to yet. Like, let's get to the problem first, and then let's try to figure out how to solve the problem. We're trying to solve the problem. Like we're trying to solve the problem before we even get there, and we're kind of hamstringing ourselves.
Yeah, you're managing backwards versus, like, making a pinch hitter in a certain spot to face that one bullpen.
I think it goes to show you how much he learned from the mistake, because tonight he went right back to the regular, most common used lineup, which, to be honest, didn't have the greatest success for the first 6 innings, right? So it's not like they came out today and just started mashing from the beginning. So I understand, even though it's a 1-run game now, but I understand why he was like, hey, maybe we should shake this thing up. I mean, but I think sometimes you try to outsmart yourself.
Yep.
And I think maybe that's what happened a little bit in game one, but this is a resilient bunch, man. This is a resilient team. Yeah. If they find a way, if they come back and win this game and the Braves tie the series up 1-1, it's full steam ahead.
Great. Yeah. And I think in the playoffs, you absolutely can outsmart yourself. You absolutely can overmanage when you're trying to make the game too big. And I think for a guy like Snitker, who's experienced, that was probably just a mistake on his part. It's good to see him go back to the same lineup in game 2, and maybe they'll get some momentum going. But it's strange to see him tinker, because he's not a tinkerer.
No. But all right, we'll see how this game plays out. We're in the bottom of the 7th right now. But let's move over to my Arizona Diamondbacks, and I got a big smile on my face because they absolutely kicked Clayton Kershaw right in the junk from pitch 1. They started with like 7 consecutive hits, I think. Moreno hit an absolute 3-run bomb. I think the thing just landed. I mean, to put up 6 runs, and Kershaw only recorded 1 out and was lifted. So 6 runs, 1 out, 1/3 of an inning. That's exactly what the Diamondbacks needed to get out and punch the Dodgers in the face like that, because, I mean, let's be honest, the Diamondbacks to me are playing with house money, kind of like the Orioles are a little bit, except for the Orioles won 100 games. That's the difference between these two. I'm saying they're playing with house money because the Diamondbacks weren't supposed to be here. I mean, just like the Orioles, like I said, but no one looked at this season and was like, oh yeah, Diamondbacks make the playoffs hands down. Like no questions asked. This team's not supposed to be here. They're young, and they're putting up numbers. They're getting good pitching. It's incredible. I've been watching this team since April, so I am real high on them. And they've gotten some great pitching. I mean, you saw their bullpen when they played Milwaukee. If you did watch the games, I mean, they were lights out. But yeah, all four of the Diamondbacks pulling for them hard. I hope they go out and punch the Dodgers in the face again tonight.
And this will forever be what haunts Clayton Kershaw is his playoff record. Mm-hmm. He's now 13-11 with an ERA of almost 4.5. He's lost so many big games for them, or on top of that, had so many the guy's got 30-something starts in the playoffs. He's got a bunch of no decisions in games that he was out of long before the decision was there to be had. He continually comes up short for them in the playoffs, and that will forever haunt him. He's not the same guy.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough look too. I mean, Clayton Kershaw made a comment. I'm trying to find what the comment was because I don't want to misquote, but it was something along the lines of he was asked about starting his fourth consecutive postseason game on a Saturday, and he was like, "Oh, it messes up my ability to watch college football," or something like that. And then he comes out and then does that. It's dude, if you're gonna make a comment like that, you better come out and shove, because it just looks like you're just not prepared.
Right. Yeah.
Well, the nice thing is he only missed the first quarter of the game, so you can go back and watch the rest of them from the clubhouse.
Yeah, right. It messes up my college football watching was the quote. Not a great look, dude.
Yeah. Morgan, take out the championship run. He's been horrendous, but it's hard to take that postseason serious with no fans.
Right.
I mean, it's true. I
seriously,
2020, I don't even think of 2020 as a season. They played. It doesn't mean anything.
No.
But yeah, that's the only time he's been good in the playoffs. Otherwise, he has consistently come up short for them, and that's been the story of his career.
Yeah. Not to mention, again, back to the Diamondbacks, Merrill Kelly had an incredible outing against them. He probably pitched one of the best games of his life in a big moment, first playoff start for him. And the thing with him is his stats at Dodger Stadium have not been good. He was 0-11 with a 5 ERA. I mean, going in at Dodger Stadium, he was not good. So for him to come out and have an outing like that, I think really sparked the Diamondbacks. I mean, a 6-run cushion in the first really helps because you can attack hitters a lot differently. You can go right at them. You don't have to nibble as much. But man, I was jumping up and down on my couch that entire first inning, dude. I was so pumped.
That was batting practice.
Go.
And so the Dodgers turn around tonight and they get Zach Gallen. They're running Bobby Miller out there, a great young player, but you're asking a 24-year-old kid to keep you from going down 2-0 to a team that's got all the momentum on their side, and they're bringing their ace in this game. I mean,
Zach Gallen was in the Cy Young talk for a while there. I mean, it's crazy.
Morgan's not hating on the D-backs, but just pointing out most people think, and that's who are these guys?
Okay, we can block him now.
You can name a few.
No, yeah,
sure you could.
I mean, I'm gonna talk about that trade that they made in the offseason that they absolutely stole from the Blue Jays.
Gurriel, yeah.
Diamondbacks got Gurriel and Gabriel Marino in that deal for Dalton Varsho, and it's completely paid off. The Diamondbacks slid a lot in August when Moreno was hurt. So this kid is young, and he's the backbone of that team. And then you add Corbin Carroll and the season he had, 25 and 50 as a rookie. These guys are going to be along for a while.
And Christian Walker is a legitimate threat in the middle of the lineup too.
Ketel Marte.
Marte. I mean, Marte was in the MVP conversation two or 3 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ketel Marte is a premier second baseman.
I want to also bring up the absolute legend that is playing third base for them right now in Evan Longoria. He made some of the craziest defensive plays I've ever seen a 38-year-old make in my life.
In the Milwaukee series?
Yeah, he saved games for the Diamondbacks there. That play he made on that line drive and then throws from his knees to double him off at second. Crazy.
I read the headline of the plan. Like Longoria, he's still around. Like Longoria's still playing.
Yeah. So that when the Diamondbacks got Paul Sewald from the Mariners, they also sent their third baseman, which gave Evan Longoria more playing time because, frankly, Longoria had earned it. Every game he was in, he was hitting doubles. He was going deep. Still plays, obviously, a serviceable third base. Like I said, I've been high on this team all year. It's been really fun to watch them and follow them. I just really hope that they go back and absolutely crush the Dodgers again and then go home with a 2-0 lead.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to see the Dodgers get bounced again. I love watching the Dodgers go out.
Yeah. All right.
Morgan's the same way. Longoria's still playing, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
He was so good in Tampa all those years.
Yeah. And then he was with San Fran for what?
Giants. They won 104 games, and he was on that team.
Yeah, it seems like he's been around for like 25 years. Crazy. Well, he came up when he was what, 19?
Something 18, like 18 or 19.
So he could have. This could be his 20th season, which is insane. Still playing, nuts. Anything else to add on those series before we head on to some trivia time?
No, the only thing was just quick on the wild card. Did you guys see Game 2 Toronto and they pull Jose Barrios 47
pitches? Yes.
And John Schneider goes and pull. I mean, what did you pay him $100 million for? I mean, you traded for him. You traded an overall top 20 prospect in baseball to Toronto. To Minnesota for Jose Barrios. And then he's in a jam. In a game that you have to win it or you go home. And your $100 million guy is on the mound and you pull him. I mean, what are you paying him the $100 million for? If it's not to get out of jams.
And he was pitching pretty well.
He walked the leadoff guy in the fifth. All right, fine. Not ideal. Like, not great. Not great, Bob. But, like, so what? I mean, that's what you pay him $100 million for.
Yeah.
I don't – it's so bad. That's – to me – and I know the stage isn't as big because it wasn't the World Series. To me, that one's worse than Blake Snell in Tampa. I only say that Blake Snell had a history in the postseason of really shitting the bed when it was his third time through the order.
Okay.
I still would have stuck with him. I'm still not defending necessarily the move, but at least there was some precedent to be like, hey, we should watch Blake Snell when he gets to the third time through.
Yep.
Okay.
At least there's that.
Yeah.
I still disagree with the move by Tampa, but at least I get it.
Yeah.
Barrios, I don't get. What did you pay him all this money for?
I don't get the whole Blue Jays thing. Like, I don't understand what that organization is doing. Everything they did made no sense. I mean, the Blue Jays scored what? 1 run in those 2 games. This offensive juggernaut scored 1 run in 2 games against the Twins.
They're gonna have to have a shakeup, dude. It's gonna be a shakeup. I don't know something that young core does not have a single postseason series victory since they've been together.
That's crazy to think
now,
about.
it's not all their fault, but you got to shake it up. Like someone's got to go. I don't know if it's Bichette. It's not going to be Vladdy.
Yeah,
I don't know. Sense. Someone's got to go. They got to make a change. There's got to be some sort of shakeup for Toronto. You can't just roll the same thing back out next year and expect something different.
Right. I think that's what they were kind of hoping with the Varsho deal, and then at the deadline they got some bullpen arms. Because Varsho is a Gold Glove defender. You can put him behind the dish. You can put him in the outfield. He can hit a little bit. He was really streaky this year.
But I think this series has proven that you nibbling on the fringes with these moves can help. But if you have a problem with the core, you got to address the core.
I agree.
It's the offensive players. They consistently that offense consistently lets them down in the playoffs. They just don't show up.
Yeah.
And the manager. I mean, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. Well,
they lost game 2, right? Obviously, they lost game 2 and Minnesota moved on. There's no excuse to pull Barrios. There's absolutely no excuse to go out and go to the bullpen there. What are you paying him $100 million for?
Right. Fully agree.
If not to get out of jams.
Right.
I mean, isn't that why you pay guys to be like, oh, now we have this horse that we can go lean on when we need to win a game? What the fuck? Like, why are we pulling him?
Yeah. I mean, even Barrios was shocked that he got pulled, And then to add, the cherry on top, he's sitting there watching his old team celebrate as they move on. Like brutal.
And if I'm Berrios, I'm pissed for many different reasons. But number one was it wasn't the 8th inning. I had 47 pitches. Up until that point, there were 9 outs in the game. I had struck out 5.
Right.
So did I want to walk the leadoff guy? No. Am I thrilled that I walked the leadoff guy? No. But I had a pretty good command of what I was doing with the baseball up until that point.
Yep.
Give me a chance to get out of it.
And
47 pitches, you're just warming up.
The worst part about it is too, none of it ends up mattering because the Blue Jays scored 0 runs in that game.
Right.
The Blue Jays gave up 2 in that game, and they still lost. It's sad. It's just sad.
Yeah. We kind of mentioned it last week or the week before. I can't even remember, but it's they won a quiet 90 games. No one talked about the Blue Jays this year. Nothing positive came out of Toronto.
They're Jekyll and Hyde. They'd win 9 in a row and then lose 8 in a row. That team was all over the place all year.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
So, crazy. All right.
But yeah, that's all I had before we moved on. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a great point. I forgot to bring that up. But yeah, anything else to add? Nope. Royce Lewis is a beast.
No, I think the AL East disappointed. The Rays look like garbage, and had no attendance. The Jays look like garbage. We had all these AL East teams, and it's only the Orioles still standing. They haven't looked good either.
Yeah. We'll bring up the Rays attendance issue later. But let's do a little trivia break here. So I have a few here. So Sammy Sosa finished his career with 609 home runs. Who was his first home run off?
Oh, goodness. Who did he hit his first home run off?
Yep. He was in the AL at this time.
I'll say he wasn't in the National League yet.
No, he was with the Rangers.
Randy Johnson.
Nope.
Clemens.
Yeah, Roger Clemens.
I knew it was going to be some legend.
Yep, crazy. Yeah, Roger Clemens at Fenway Park. So his first career home run was over the Monster. Crazy.
Oh, cool.
Jamie Moyer. It's a good guess.
I love the Jamie Moyer.
That guy gave up a lot of long balls.
He did. Pitch for. He was like the prior version of Rich Hill. He pitched forever.
Jamie Moyer's rookie year with the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1962.
Rich Hill is the Kirkland brand Jamie Moyer.
The Kirkland brand. I love it.
Yeah.
So good. All right. We had 4 players this year hit 30-30. Who were they?
4 for 30.
Acuna, J-Rod, Witt.
Acuna was 1.
What did you say?
Yep.
Acuna, J-Rod,
Witt.
This 4th one's a little tricky.
Acuna, J-Rod, Witt.
On a really not so good team. That
Corbin Carroll didn't make it, right?
25 and
25.
50.
Yeah.
This team should have been good, and they had a fire sale, pretty much.
Not Luis Robert, right?
No.
Luis Robert, Chicago.
NL East.
Oh, Lindor.
Lindor, yep.
Oh, yeah.
Francisco
Lindor. Quiet 30-30 over there.
Yeah, a very quiet 30-30.
Crazy.
Wow. Yeah. Makes sense.
Okay. I'll save that one first. So here we go. You have a hat trick with 3 Ks in one game. You get the golden sombrero if you strike out 4 times in one game. What is it called if you strike out 5 times in one game?
Demotion to AAA. It's called a quiet Tuesday for Kyle Schwarber.
It's the platinum sombrero.
Platinum sombrero, yes. There's also a slang term.
I did that. I did the platinum sombrero once in high school, and I didn't live it down for like 3 years. Oh. It was not great. It was not great. Yeah. Not great.
There's also a slang. They call it the Olympic rings.
Nice.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's good.
there's 3 players that have done it twice in their career. Can you name them?
Schwarber?
Nope. One of them is current.
Okay.
And you see videos of him missing balls by 18 feet.
Javi Baez?
Javi Baez has done it twice. Yep.
That guy will swing at a pitch out.
no joke. And then
one of my favorite videos of all time was Miggy hitting that pitch out back up the middle. But
yeah, the intentional walk pitch.
Yeah, the intentional walk pitch.
Sammy Sosa did it twice, and then also Ray Langford for the Cardinals did it twice. 5 Ks in a game twice.
Ouch.
Yeah. Okay, this one's going to take a little bit more thinking, but who are the last 5 pitchers to achieve the pitching triple crown?
Oh boy!
So that's it. So it's wins, Ks, ERA, right?
Wins, Ks, ERA. He had to lead the league in the earliest one, or the soonest, the one closest to us. Sorry, the last one.
The most recent
was 20.
The most recent.
Thank you. I can't come up with those 2 words for whatever. The most recent is 2020. So again, kind of a weird year, but
20. So the COVID year.
Yep. And the AL Central, I'll give you that.
Dylan Cease?
Nope.
Shane Bieber.
Oh, Bieber, yeah, good one.
8 wins, 1.63 ERA, 122 Ks. Okay, the next 2 happened in the same year, one in the AL, one in the NL, in 2011.
Kershaw
was 1. 21 wins, 2.28 ERA with 248 Ks. Then the AL.
In 2011.
Verlander, yep.
No, good call. Of course, Verlander. Yeah.
24 wins, 2.40 ERA, 250 Ks. Now the next 2, we dial it back a little bit. 2007 in the National League West. I'll even give you that. National League West, 2007, and then 2006 American League Central.
2007. Jake Peavy,
NL West.
With the Padres.
Padres.
Damn.
19 wins.
I only remember that because the Padres were so bad in 2006, and it was like, it'd be like you just tune into like, oh, Jake Peavy's pitching, like something good's gonna happen.
Yep.
Right.
So 2006. Oh, sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
19 wins, 2.54 ERA, 240 Ks. Morgan guessed Burley. It's not Mark Burley.
Johan Santana.
Nice.
Back with the Twins.
Nice.
Yep. 19 wins, 2.77 ERA, 245.
I used to love to watch that guy pitch. That changeup was devastating. Oh my God.
So good. I have more, but I'll save them. Do you guys have any or no?
I have one.
Okay,
here we go.
Let's hear it.
So since the year 2000, there's been 4 players to hit a home run on their 40th birthday.
Oh, geez.
I can give you the years. So it happened in 2011, 2012, 2015, and then 2023.
Wow. So who are guys that played until they were old? You had
A-Rod.
A-Rod was 2015.
Julio Franco?
Nope.
He hit a home run when he turned 60.
I'll say hit it on his 60th birthday. Miggy didn't, right?
Nope. Miggy's not one.
Yeah, that's a good guess, though.
Pujols?
Manny?
Nope.
Not Pujols.
So you got A-Rod 2015. So you have 2023, 2012, and 2011.
Nelson Cruz?
Nope. Someone did it this year.
I'm trying to think of who.
We love him on the show. Not Manny.
Jim Thome.
Jim Thome was 2011.
2011.
So you have 2011 and you have 2015.
Oh,
come on, Harrison, you love him. 2023.
It's gonna kill me too.
It is. You love him.
I remember the headline too, and I'm trying to remember who it was.
I'm drawing a blank.
Oh my gosh! Why? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Wow, Riley with a 2-run bomb.
Oh my goodness! Look at that.
5-4.
Oh, in the bottom of the 8th. Oh, they're going to come back and steal this game if they can hang on.
2023. Who did it this year? Like 40. Wow, no clue.
No, I was going to say McCutcheon. He's not 40 though.
Oh, come on. You love him.
I know. And I'm trying.
You're always talking about his social media presence.
Oh, is it Votto?
Oh, yes, Joey Votto,
yeah. Like, oh, God, you're killing me. Who is
it? Votto did it this year. And then you're missing the last one in 2012.
2012. So Jim Thome
did it in 11.
Era.
Yeah. Thome did it in 11, A-Rod in 15, and Votto this year.
Oh, Chipper Jones.
Oh, good one. Yeah.
Chipper Jones in 2012.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was going to say switch hitter for the Braves, but that would have given it away.
Right.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. All right. It's cool. All right. So that's trivia for this week. Let's go to our next segment. We're just going to wrap up some news here. The Rays attendance in that wild card series. I mean, it's absolutely embarrassing. There's no reason why the Tampa Bay Rays should have a team in Tampa. If you can't sell out a playoff game, a first-round playoff game, with a team that literally battled for the best record in the MLB for the entire season, and you barely got 19,000 fans for your first playoff game, that's an issue.
And don't give me the garbage about it was Tuesday afternoon. I don't care. I don't care.
No.
Like, I'm not here for that.
I posted the side-by-side picture of what it looked like at 3 p.m. in Baltimore and then 3 p.m. in Tampa.
Don't give me that.
It's not all right. I
get the argument. They announced the game times like the day before. It was 3:00. Like, I get that. But diehard fans still show up. Like, they're still there.
Yeah, they don't even show up during the regular season.
They don't.
Like, all the fans that are in there are fans of the team they're playing.
They're going to go get the Rays a beautiful new waterfront ballpark, as they've proposed, to have it still be empty. Like, I don't. Baseball, for whatever reason, in Tampa has just never been popular. They've never drawn well. No. They're just trying to force it.
I'll say, I think they might draw a little bit better if it's in Tampa and not St. Pete.
That would help.
Which is a nightmare to get to.
Oh, because like the Tampa Bay Lightning draw exceptionally well, and that's hockey in Florida.
So, like, I think if you make it a little bit more
accessible.
Yeah, thank you for the word.
Well, you hit me up with most recent, so
yes,
just help out.
A few times I did. I just think, that might help a little, but I just don't. They don't love baseball down there. It's not something they care about.
Yeah,
Morgan, Portland, Maine would have had better attendance.
He's right. Not wrong.
He's not wrong.
No.
You're gonna tell me if I had an opportunity and I live a little south of Boston, maybe a shade over 2 hours from Portland, if I had an opportunity to go to a game, postseason game, I could walk up day of and get tickets I'd go.
Yep. I'd be there.
Like, of course they would. Portland, and it's all joking aside, they absolutely would have had better attendance.
Yep.
Yeah. This is the issue, is that there's other markets in this country that could sell out those stadiums. I live in one right now. Raleigh is absolutely booming in population. There's 1.5 million people that live in Wake County alone, not to mention, I'm not even counting Durham and Chapel Hill area. Like, you could put a team there and that team would sell out almost every game. Like, no doubt in my mind. Or Charlotte, Nashville, we've talked about that. Salt Lake City, hell, put the team back in Montreal. Like, they're gonna pull more than 19,000 for a playoff game. That is
I sent you guys the picture that the Kansas City Royals last home game of this year, they had more fans in attendance than the Rays did at a postseason game.
Yeah,
they had over 20,000 in Kansas City, and the Rays pulled 19 and change.
Yeah,
it's mind blowing.
And the MLB is going to allow it. You're not going to tell them, be like, sorry guys, like, you got to move. Like, this isn't doing anything. Like, I get your ballpark is an absolute dumpster, but a new ballpark I don't think is going to bring in more people. Like, at first, sure, but when's the newness going to wear off? Season one?
Yeah. Well, when you look at, I mean, I agree with Sean. Have you guys been to that ballpark?
I have not.
I've never seen a game there.
Okay, so yeah, I've been there a couple of times. I used to go to Tampa for work all the time. I've been there for a couple of games. The ballpark is terrible. The parking is terrible. Getting there is a pain, and because you've got to leave Tampa and shoot across the bridge to get to St. Pete.
Which the traffic on that bridge is nightmarish.
It's brutal.
So it's like if you're
traffic is brutal.
Why battle it? Like I'm not. And again, and that's another thing too. And not to get on like a Tampa Bay Rays like soapbox here, but like if you want to draw people, if people have to work a regular job and they get out of work at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and first pitch is at 7, I'm not battling that.
Right.
Like I'm not doing that for a Thursday, Friday, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, 3 nights in a row for us. Like I'm not doing it.
Yeah, and so
it's difficult to get to. It's a pain in the ass to park. The stadium is a dump. Like what am I doing that for?
Well, and you're competing against the fact that I could just stay here in Tampa and go to like 1,000 different places that would be just as entertaining as that ball game, and they're right down the street. So I mean, the cool thing about Tampa is everything's built off the water. Restaurants, I mean, there's like 37,000 bars that like spill onto the beach. Like, why are you going to go fight traffic to go sit in that dump and watch a baseball game? But yet the Tampa Bay Lightning draw like crazy because they're in Tampa Bay. Like you can hit all those restaurants and then kind of walk over to the stadium and catch the game.
Right.
The Rays are way the hell off in the hinterlands.
Which is why I think if they do, if that all works through and they get themselves a ballpark, a nice new stadium in Tampa, I do think they would do better.
They would, but they still probably won't sell out.
Probably not. They don't love baseball now.
They don't. They just don't. And because you're competing against too many other things to do.
Are you sure they're not going to keep it in St. Pete? Did they say that they're going to move it into Tampa?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they picked the site yet. I think they've just given a proposal what they want to do.
I'm just saying what I would propose. That's all. I have no idea if they've decided what they want. I don't know.
It says on Tuesday, the Rays announced an agreement with St. Petersburg and Pinellas County for a new ballpark in downtown St. Pete, near the site of Tropicana Field.
So
I love that.
Not going to solve the problem because you're still not where the people are.
Yeah.
And St. Pete's a nice little town, but it doesn't have the same kind of affluence as Tampa. St. Pete is very much a kind of blue collar suburb of Tampa. You put that stadium in Tampa where all the action is and all the people are and all the high rises are and everything's going on, people are going to show up. In St. Pete, they're just not going to shag out there.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I would love to see them not in Tampa, but it looks like at this point they're there to stay. So
yeah, that's the equivalent to putting the Red Sox out in Springfield, Mass, and saying, well, they're part of Boston. They're not part of Boston. It's not Boston. They're not the same thing.
Right.
The people aren't there.
Yeah, agree. All right. News came out from Joey Votto's camp that he wants to come back for one more year.
Love it. Bring him.
I would love it, but the thing is the option's a $20 million option. Do the Reds bring him back for $20 million for a farewell tour? I love Joey Votto. I love who the guy is. Are the Reds willing to pay him $20 million for a farewell tour? Like, I don't know.
Their answer to that's going to tell you how serious they are next.
Yeah.
Right? Like with pitching they have, with De La Cruz coming up and doing the things De La Cruz did this year, it's going to show you how serious they are about building off of that. If they bring him back $20 million for a farewell tour, they're not in it to win it.
Yep, that's fair.
Like I think that's going to be your first indication about how the Reds are treating next year.
Better yet, decline the option, let him sign in Boston, and let us enjoy the guy for a year.
Oh, I'd love that.
The Red Sox fans would love that, dude.
I think he retires a Red. There's no way he's going to ring.
He's
not going to ring Jays. But I mean, at this point, $20 million for them really. They're not paying those guys anybody. I mean, what? Right. 7 out of their 9 guys were rookies. They're on rookie deals. You're not going to have to pay them for 3 or 4 years. Like, is it going to cost you that much to really like keep them for $20 million? Like, I don't really know. You're not paying anybody else.
No, I mean I could see Votto saying, "Look, guys, decline the option and let's just sign a deal that works for both sides."
Yeah,
because they don't have the payroll to commit to him. And I don't think he honestly would expect to get paid $20 million to come back on a farewell tour and probably be a 75% playing time kind of guy. But it would be nice to give the guy one more trip around, kind of continue the changing of the guard, and that transition as those young guys come up.
Yeah. I mean, he put up decent numbers when he came back. I mean, he's still got it. It's just, I don't know. Selfishly, I want to see him play one more year. I love that dude. He's one of my favorite players.
I just want to see him as part of baseball forever.
1,000%.
I don't care what he's doing.
So bummed when I went to Cincinnati last year and he wasn't playing. He was hurt. Love him. But all right, let's get into the whole Mets shenanigans here. Billy Epler resigns. We don't have to.
That's fine.
Sean wants to take a pass on the Mets. It's a mess, man.
I've substituted my Mets for the Rangers this year, so we don't have to talk about the Mets. That's okay.
Okay. Well, Billy Epler resigns because later it comes out that
No, hang on. Billy Epler resigned because he wanted to leave the team in good hands with the new leadership.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Sure. Wink, wink.
Nobody gives up that job willingly.
But, right. When you got an owner that's going to pay you buco bucks.
Yep.
Like, no. So now it comes out a couple days later that he's being investigated by the MLB for using the injured list improperly. What that looks like, I don't know the details. It just said that they were investigating.
Can I just point out, clearly they gained no advantage from that.
Clearly. Right. So, I don't know. So he's gone. So, I mean, that's a couple GMs looking for new jobs. So, you got Heim out there. Now you got Billy Epler.
And nobody expected the Mets seat to open up either.
Yeah. But, yeah, crazy. Red Sox are cleaning house here. They fired pitching coach, David Bush, and third base coach Carlos Fables. So they're kind of cleaning out their bench. Looks like Cora's staying, but need new coaches.
Did you know that Fables has been with the organization since 2007?
Yeah,
been there forever.
Time. Wow.
I wonder if I'm sure, all those guys, like the base coaches, they all have like other jobs they do, right? They all have like defensive responsibilities, infield coach, corner infield coach, like middle, like whatever. I mean, I don't know what his responsibilities were. I wonder if a lot of that was just how bad and disgusting the Red Sox were defensively this year. The number of errors that were made, the poor base running into outs, just fumble fucking the ball all over the infield. Like, I wonder if a lot of that is just like, you know what? Like, the people that were responsible for that, we're getting rid, right? Like, we're bringing other guys in. We're starting new. Like, I don't know. I have no idea. But, like, I heard that, and I'm thinking, well, I can't imagine he's getting fired for third base coach duties. They did run into a lot of outs, but a lot of them were I didn't think, like, why are we sending this guy out? Just like the players don't know how many outs there are, and they're running with one out, stuff, dumb base running decisions rather than like, I didn't like that decision to send them. Maybe I'm nitpicking here. I don't know.
I mean, I can think of that one play with Reese McGuire that was really freaking bad on all parts. Where he was like, he thought it went off the wall. He was halfway home, and then like, I mean, both parties.
That was a disaster.
Yeah,
both parties were guilty there because Fables wasn't doing anything. He was just kind of
So maybe I'm talking to myself. Maybe he was that bad of a third base coach, but I don't know. I wonder if there's some more going on because Corey even made some pointed comments like last week about how like I had a frank conversation with the whole coaching staff about how we need to be better defensively. Like, you're not going to win baseball games when you're giving teams 5 outs in an inning. Like it's just not these. You're playing against teams and players that are too good. So I'm not shocked. I mean, they had to do something. They had to clean house a little bit there.
Yeah. What's interesting too is that Fables got promoted to third base coach by Cora prior to the 2018 season, but Dave Bush was the pitching coach for Ron Renicky, and then he was a holdover for Cora too, which is funny that Cora didn't even pick his own pitching coach when he came over. He just kind of inherited him and kept going.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how good the Red Sox are next year when Shohei Ohtani signs, and then we'll go from there. But the last thing I have, unfortunately, a little bit of sad news is Sandy Alcantara underwent Tommy John surgery, I believe, on Tuesday. So he will miss all of 2024. Hopefully, we'll see him back in 2025. Again, talk about another team that kind of overachieved this year. the Marlins getting, I know they went into Philly and got their, faces kicked in, but
which we kind of expected.
Yeah. But I mean, they still got there. I mean, no one ever expected the Marlins to make a wild card spot. And here they are. And they didn't even have their ace and got rid of Pablo Lopez. I mean, you think about that. You really lost your two top pitchers this year and you made the playoffs. I mean, that's crazy.
With a negative run differential.
With a negative run differential, right? Yeah. I just blows my mind. I saw last night they were talking about that Luis Arraez and that ball's hit hard. Did he get it? Oh, what a play. Dang.
Nick, you're so ahead of me, and it's giving me agita right now. It's giving me
agita. Sorry. But they were talking about the Pablo Lopez and the Luis Arraez deal.
Watch out for the D-backs.
Both teams really won that deal. Like, it was the right trade. It was even, and both teams made the postseason. Like, crazy.
Yeah, watch out for your D-backs, Nick.
Why do you say that?
Bases loaded, nobody out. Top one.
Already? I got to change the channel. This game just ended, so. But, yeah. So, I mean, I hope the Marlins are back there for sure. But, I mean, we'll see what happens. But,
amen. The Braves won a game.
Right?
What was Bryce Harper doing? Dude, I was sitting so pretty for that parlay. I had Philly to win, I had Arizona to win, and I had Zach Gallen with over 4.5 Ks. And it was 4-0 Philly. I was sitting pretty.
Yep. Sorry.
What's Bryce Harper doing?
I don't know. Apparently the Braves heard the pod and reacted as soon as I said that they were looking like they're going to lose tonight because they came right back.
Austin Riley just goes out.
Did Carlos Fieblas go right to the Braves when he got fired? Did the Phillies? Is he the Phillies' third base coach now? What happened?
Oh, man. 1-0 D-backs.
Yeah. So that's all
a great catch by Harris.
Yeah, that was great.
What a great catch by Harris.
But, yeah. So that's all I had tonight. Do you guys have anything else?
I don't think so.
I was gonna give this to Sean because I know it's gonna make him happy. But they've reset the odds for the World Series, and right now the Rangers are the new favorites to win the World Series. The Rangers are at plus 360.
Yeah.
Hopefully after this game, my D-backs will jump up a little bit. Let's go. I was there in like 5th, right? In front of the Orioles, I think.
Yeah.
Or
it's Rangers followed by the Phillies and Braves at plus 440.
Yeah. So. All right. Yeah. So that's all I had. You guys don't have anything else?
No, I don't know if it's worth getting much into it, but MLB did release the kind of all the information about the season and the games. Time of game came in almost 30 minutes shorter than prior year. Attendance was up 9% across the league. They're feeling like all the rule changes they made worked, and they're seeing baseball gain some more exposure in markets that it had been either struggling to gain traction in or had been falling backwards in. So it seems like the stuff they did that we were kind of wondering how it would work is come to find out is actually working and has brought people back to the game.
Yeah, it's good to see. I'm glad. I think it was like the perfect storm for them to do that with the World Baseball Classic happening. Nice. World Baseball Classic happening, and then it kind of just jumped right into the season. So people were jazzed about that, and to just get quicker games, more people coming to the games. I mean, it all kind of came together and made a huge impact. So, yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, all good stuff. So,
yeah.
Unfortunately, next year you're gonna have a lot of players that are dealing with UCL surgeries and Tommy John surgeries and all sorts of other stuff because there's been a ton of guys dropping.
Yeah. And we just need some more guys to drop some weight, maybe get back into Cy Young for Manoa.
Yeah.
We'll see. But
yeah, some guys just forgot how to pitch.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys want to stay on for the D-backs game for a little bit or maybe end this and then hop back on?
Yeah, I'll hang for a few.
All right. So we're going to end the show right here, but we will be live in a couple more minutes to hop on with for this game. So if you guys want to join the chat with us, you are more than welcome to do so. So we'll just end the show with this. Just make sure.
I'm sad.
Why are you sad?
Because I was up 4-0 in that game.
Oh, yeah.
Our degenerate gambler friend Sean is struggling.
For sure.
I'm sad.
Okay. Well, we can talk about it in a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So please like, subscribe, share our podcast. Keep commenting on our reels and sharing our reels, liking our reels. We had one absolutely blow up this week. We got a whole bunch of new followers. So thank you to everybody that tuned in today and commented and joined the chat. And thanks for the continued support. It really means a lot. Like, we're excited that it's starting to take off a little bit and that more people are starting to see us. It's been an absolute blast. So thank you so much. And we will see you guys on the other side, because we will pop back on in about 2 or 3 minutes and watch this game live and just chit chat baseball. So thanks again. And we'll see you next Monday at 8.
See ya.